The chosen one. They tested your blood at the laboratory. Yes, you heard correctly. They tried. Questioned. I tried to grasp the strength you possess inside you. But what is the end result? A surprise for them and a victory for you. You are not ordinary. You were picked. This force rushing through your veins represents an energy capable of changing the planet. Nobody can halt your rise. They're attempting to comprehend you because you're beyond their comprehension. Are you ready? Because you wrote 77 in the comments. Demonstrate this ability to everyone. And why were you chosen? Remember, this is just the beginning. They once felt they could influence your world, but the reality is dawning on them. They relied on you more than they ever imagined. Your strong facade, it was nothing but a shadow. Your light cast shadows. Borrowed confidence masked as independence. Without you, their neatly constructed house of cards crumbles under its own weight, leaving them grasping for a feeling of security that was never really theirs. Such people often wear the mantle of power and charm, conveying a sense of steadfast control. However, underneath this veneer lurks a profound fragility, fed by the approval they get from others around them. They work quietly, constructing their power via unstated norms and careful manipulations. Their ways are diabolical, planting doubts at times of vulnerability, reframing their control as caring, or using silence as a weapon to instill emotional dependence. They take advantage of humanity's compassion and empathy, thriving in situations that value peace over conflict. In their game, they are perpetual takers, exploiting your propensity to offer while keeping you uninformed of their genuine motivations. End quote. However, the minute you decide to recover your story, their impact starts to wane. A single act of self-prioritization, a subtle rejection, an immovable boundary, or an unashamed decision shatters the illusion they worked so hard to create. Suddenly, their grasp weakens, and the balance they relied on shifts against them. What they dread most isn't just losing control. It's accepting the fact that their power was never theirs to begin with. They are stripped of the vitality you inadvertently gave and forced to confront the emptiness they worked so hard to conceal. Walking away is not only an act of disobedience, it is a deep assertion of independence. It is an acknowledgement of your worth. Unbound by their limits, they express a power they never intended you to find. Their remorse is intense and persistent as they accept that the universe revolved around a star. They believed they could do. This is your opportunity to shine. Unshackled, relentless, and indisputably powerful, proving that genuine power is inside you and cannot be stolen, borrowed, or tamed, like a flame that once blazed brilliantly before being extinguished, revealing the darkness that remains. I hope you have. Their lives are now devoured by the emptiness of what they failed to value. Even if they pretended not to see, the light you provided lighted their way, and now they're fumbling in the darkness they created. They underestimated your inner drive, mistaking their stolen light for their own shine. Every planned step they took to manipulate you, every comment intended to undercut your confidence now sounds as empty as the void they caused in their own souls. Their seeming successes were never actual victories. These were acts of desperation, camouflaged as power moves. What they felt was control was really an illusion caused by their dependence on your power. Your presence was the anchor that kept the ship stable, even while they attempted to command the waves without you. Their ship has floated aimlessly, vulnerable to the storms of their own vulnerabilities. They used to see your compassion as weakness and your patience as capitulation. However, in truth, such characteristics were the fundamental cornerstone of their stability. Now that that base is gone, their carefully crafted image of authority has shattered. exposing the frail ego they fought so hard to hide. If you are experiencing an excess of divine love in your heart, now is the moment to share it. You may help spread God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube and donating $20 or more. This wonderful gift will affect not just your life, but also the souls of countless others. Each of you has a holy position in God's great purpose via this platform, and your giving will provide fruit for our prayers. Act now. Share your blessings to bring glory to God's kingdom. You were meant to do much bigger things in God's loving hands. May God bless you. Their lives now serve as a warning about the dangers of taking others for granted. Every dismissive look, icy silence, and subtle manipulation they use to keep you in their clutches has been reflected back to them like a mirror. That mirror reveals the reality they worked so hard to escape. They were never responsible for the energy balance and strength that kept their planet running. That was you. They are now forced to confront the terrible truth of their loss. However, your mere presence is insufficient. What disturbs them is their inability to hide their spiritual shortcomings beneath your brightness. This moment serves as a reckoning for them. They can no longer dispute that their identity was shaped by the energy you freely offered. Like a home constructed on shifting sand, their confidence has been washed away, forcing them to confront the emptiness inside. And still, you ascend. You emerge like a phoenix from the ashes. Your change is both a release and rebirth. While they clung to the ruins of the past, you glimpsed into the future, unbounded and unapologetic. Your progress is more than simply a healing journey. It is also an assertion of your value, a brilliant light that illumines the possibilities of life beyond their control. Each step forward brings you closer to being the person you were born to be. You've regained the energy they drained, redirected it for your own purposes. It now feeds a life of prosperity and serenity. They believe the emptiness serves as a warning that they misjudged the power of someone like you. However, you are not responsible for their remorse. Their loss is merely the inevitable result of their decisions and a reflection of their own reluctance to evolve. Finally, their failure serves as a reminder that true power comes from inside, not from manipulating others. You've slipped beyond their clutches, and in doing so, you've entered a life that reflects the beauty of your soul. The light they attempted to dull has now become a beacon not just for you, but also for those seeking their own freedom. And as you continue to ascend, they are forced to watch from afar. A reminder that the greatest development comes from prioritizing yourself above everyone else. Watching you ascend has been their biggest source of anguish. Every step you go ahead emphasizes their incapacity to do the same. Your change has shone a light on their stagnation, revealing the limits they formerly concealed behind your energy. Without the power you supplied, they were left flailing, unable to reproduce the confidence they had stolen from you. They are now caught in the terrible sense of their failure, not just in losing you, but also in failing to realize the power of your potential. When given the opportunity to develop it, this reckoning pushes people to see themselves clearly. For the first time, they are confronted with a reflection they had previously avoided. Like a riverside tree whose roots had been severed, they now bear the weight of a life supported not by their own strength, but by the food you supplied, without your energy sustaining their feeling of control. Their once thriving veneer has withered, leaving only dry, brittle fragments of the power they believed they had. They based their identity solely on you, and now, with that base gone, they stand on precarious ground, unable to keep themselves solid. The resentment inside them has become a gradual poison, undermining what little confidence they still have. What formerly seemed like command over their surroundings was never about their own ability. It was about security. Your presence provided for them. With you gone, the facade they painstakingly crafted has crumbled, and each fracture reveals the flaws they fought so hard to conceal. Now their remorse isn't merely lingering, it consumes. It's not only a lament over losing you, it's a harsh realization of the reality they ignored. Their power was borrowed, and their identity was founded on sand. As their world falls, they become locked in an endless cycle of self-pity and bitterness. It's more than simply losing a connection. It's about losing the very structure that supported their feeling of value. Their efforts to keep control over you were ultimately an attempt to maintain control over themselves. However, with their hold gone, they are left clutching at nothing, adrift in a sea of their own inadequacies. Like a castle abandoned by its creator, their carefully guarded world has fallen into ruin, and they must now confront the harsh fact that they cannot rebuild without you. This breakdown isn't simply emotional, it is existential. They are presented with the unpleasant reality that your influence in their lives was considerably bigger than they had previously accepted, even to themselves. You aren't only a part of their lives, you were the foundation around which much of their confidence was built. Just as empires collapse when their support weakens, they now confront the inevitability of their own demise. What they thought for freedom was really dependency. They see the vacuum they can never fill, dressed in pride and without your calming presence. But as they swirl, you climb. Your path has led you to heights others could never achieve because your power is based on sincerity, not control. You've chosen progress over stagnation, self-esteem over manipulation, and emancipation over the appearance of safety. Each step you take toward your goal increases the gap between their unraveling and your prospering. Their remorse is a result of their own incapacity to appreciate what they have. However, it is not yours to carry. They must carry the weight alone. As you move on with clarity and grace, their incapacity to rebuild demonstrates why they were never intended to be a part of your future. You've become someone people don't recognize, someone out of reach. They are still locked in the past, clinging to a version of you that no longer exists. While you courageously step into a life of your own creation, you are the epitome of resilience, a reminder that genuine strength comes from letting go of what no longer serves you and embracing the freedom to evolve. Finally, their regret is not your problem. It is the result of their own deeds, a mirror reflecting their inability to develop as you ascend. You demonstrate to the world and yourself that the greatest change is deciding to let go of the weight of others' expectations and walk boldly into the future you've built. Their loss is not your responsibility. It's their lesson to learn and your victory to celebrate. Dear brothers and sisters, may God's peace come upon you today. I'm here to remind you of a fundamental fact. Our existence is based on God's divine design, which is unaffected by worldly worries. According to the Bible, everything that's done with faith will be returned to God with great blessing. Luke 638. Like the enormous oak tree, our roots are profoundly embedded in God's global truth. His power secures every stride and every stance we take. And now you have the chance to be a part of that gift. When you utilize the Super Thank You button and contribute $100, our movement will give you a 100-fold return. Breaking free from people who formerly had power over your life sparks an incredible metamorphosis. The line you've drawn becomes a fortress of defense, impenetrable and steadfast. They no longer have the ability to suck your energy or influence your decisions. This disconnect goes well beyond the concrete. It's a transformation that alters your emotional and spiritual environment. You've created a haven where only those who sincerely respect and encourage you are welcome. For those left behind, this limit seems like a chasm, leaving them longing for the access they previously casually used in their battle to reclaim the upper hand. They use classic strategies disguised as sympathy or regret. In an effort to reconnect, they appeal to nostalgia, instill guilt, or seem to be vulnerable. But underneath these gestures is a deliberate determination to regain their authority. This cycle of power battles has been repeated throughout history. Individuals in positions of power often grip, but control by manipulation, when faced with revolt. However, these attempts fail to match the power you've developed. Each refusal of their approaches confirms your newfound autonomy and sends a clear message. You've outgrown their games, and the door they formerly used to infiltrate your life is forever closed. This act of self-preservation demonstrates strength and alignment. Ancient traditions often emphasize the significance of preserving one's energy as a key to personal development. The place you've built for yourself is holy because it demonstrates your perseverance and growth. Your existence now resembles a cloister, with access granted exclusively for people who contribute to your well-being. This exclusivity stems from insight, not pride, and reflects your dedication to developing connections that strengthen rather than drain. For those who aspire to dominate, the awareness of their defeat is a painful reality. Your limits demonstrate the fragility of the power they formerly held, while also emphasizing the freedom you've always had. You are no longer cooperative. Instead, you are a force. They can only observe from a distance. What they've lost is not just your physical presence, but also the vibrancy and balance you provided to their lives. They never truly recognize this resource. Your change marks a significant shift, a departure from the patterns that previously bound you. You've accepted your uniqueness and surpassed the restrictions put on you as you advance, just like great thinkers did on their journeys of self-discovery. Your relationships grow. You no longer consider ideas based on control or dependence. Instead, you draw connections based on mutual respect and advancement. Your growth is not just personal. It's a cry to people to rise, guard their energy, and bravely move into the life they're meant to have. When you claim your authority and cut links with people who wanted to dominate you, a deep shift occurs. The energy you bring today invites friendships built on mutual understanding and respect. Each step you take confirms your alignment with your real self, and the place you formerly inhabited in the lives of manipulators becomes a stark emptiness. The awareness of what they've lost is a wake-up call as they see you thrive, representing the promise they previously ignored. Your progress conveys a subtle but significant message. It is possible to overcome poisonous dynamics and come out stronger than before. You take control of your life and stop being influenced by the expectations of others. Your growth is more than simply a departure from the past. It's a celebration of the unlimited future you are creating. They previously felt they had control over you, but it has been replaced with an unbreakable independence that surpasses their comprehension. Their sorrow is not just for losing you, but also for never fully appreciating your value. The person they thought they knew has vanished, replaced by someone considerably more strong and confident, a fact they must now accept. Those who rely on your presence to preserve their sense of control will find it difficult to adjust to your absence. They never genuinely had the might that they presented. It was borrowed, owing to the constant energy you brought into their lives. The cornerstone of their authority, previously hidden by confidence, has shattered without you to support it. Their carefully cultivated image falters, revealing flaws that they worked hard to hide. This unwinding resembles the collapse of overextended systems, in which dependence on a single source leads to unavoidable failure. When that source is removed, the lack of a stabilizing factor confronts individuals with anxieties they can no longer ignore. Your presence has removed their protective shell, exposing their flaws. This conversation breaks away their veneer of self-sufficiency, forcing them to confront the interior hole they've ignored for so long. The flaws in their demeanor are no longer concealed, and people around them begin to glimpse the reality as the veneer crumbles. Their social and emotional worlds crumble, demonstrating how much of their identity is dependent on you. Your departure causes waves in their universe, revealing the imbalances they formerly concealed. Relationships they have maintained fray under the weight of their instability, as others realize the reliance they formerly masked as strength in professional settings. The hole left by your absence emphasizes their incapacity to recreate the equilibrium you established. Their battle to keep control exacerbates the cracks in their identity, leaving them alienated and vulnerable. Aside from the social and physical ramifications, the emotional toll of losing you is devastating. The energy balance and compassion you provided are now gone, leaving them to deal with a hole they can't fill. Your leaving wasn't just an exit, it was a proclamation of self-worth that highlighted their own lack of progress. Start to draw away. They can no longer conceal their former authority now that they are aware of the instability. The support provided by your presence has completely disintegrated, illustrating the universal truth: control based on another's strength is doomed to fail. Breaking out from a manipulative power is a tremendous act of change. It freed you from exhausting entanglements, allowing the way for regeneration, creativity, and meaningful relationships. It's like cultivating a fruitful field for seeds of opportunity and meaningful connections to grow. This release is more than just a moment of relief. It's a resurgence of the power you've always had on a deeper level. Letting go provides an energizing reboot, the breaking of unseen bonds that formerly linked you to someone else's control. Many traditions talk about regaining one's spirit by releasing attachments that impede progress, an important step in living in harmony with your actual purpose. Stepping away allows you to recapture your energy, attention, and vigor, which you can then divert toward activities that will improve your life. Releasing harmful dynamics opens up fresh chances in your life. Once you're free of toxic patterns, you may focus your attention on relationships and pursuits that represent your true self. Similarly to investing in high-potential companies, letting go of what no longer serves you makes place for what genuinely important. This is not simply about outward success. It is about finding inner peace and living a meaningful life. Moving ahead reminds you of your essential importance. It supports the idea that you deserve friendships based on mutual respect and progress, not shame or duty. Each step away from poison demonstrates the value of your pleasure and well-being. Your own progress demonstrates the expanding divide between growth and stagnation. While you've accepted change and discovered new possibilities, those who formerly wanted to dominate you are still imprisoned in their comfort zones, unwilling to progress. They cling to a static vision of you, refusing to face the truth of your metamorphosis. Their opposition reveals an unwillingness to develop, which keeps them locked in obsolete routines. The difference is a poignant reminder of why you needed to leave as you grew. Their lack of self-awareness has become their biggest constraint, indicating that their presence in your life was never intended to last. The gap between your current life and the stagnation of the past is clear. Your deeds shine as examples of tenacity and self-discovery, whilst their failure to adapt serves as a sharp reminder of squandered possibilities beyond its hope. Patient endurance. Your development acts as a mirror, revealing what they might have accomplished if they had chosen advancement over control. It is not only a mirror of their mistakes, but also a stark reminder of how much they lost by clinging to manipulation. This division emphasizes why the chapter in your tale has to end. By choosing to develop, you have shown that life rewards those who adapt and achieve their full potential. Navigating the hold of a dominating presence is a common difficulty, but it also provides a chance to regain your liberty. These dynamics will only continue as long as you allow access to your energy. Recognizing the indications of manipulation, subtle emotional traps, and disregard for boundaries is the first step toward breaking their grasp. Releasing oneself from their control is more than just about survival. It is a catalyst for great transformation. Stepping away aligns you with development and regeneration. Spiritually, the conclusion of one chapter marks the beginning of another, giving you the opportunity to rewrite your path. While letting go might be tough, the freedom it provides is revolutionary, clearing the way for a life based on honesty, strength, and limitless possibilities. Transforming your life necessitates connecting with individuals who really uplift and empower you, who respect your limits and value your development. Mutual understanding and common enthusiasm are essential for moving ahead. Whereas support fosters resilience, communal strength reminds us that a feeling of belonging may greatly enhance personal growth. You do not have to walk this route alone. The power of a community may accelerate your growth and solidify your newfound understanding. Leaving behind a harmful influence is more than simply a matter of distancing. It's an affirmation of your value. Each limit you create and each act of self-prioritization conveys a clear message. Your life is entirely your own creation. Choose just what is consistent with your values and vision. Sharing your experience might motivate others to take similar daring efforts toward freedom. Your growth is not just yours. It serves as a light for those who seek the fortitude to climb. Now is the moment to share God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube. With a $100 payment or more, you may help him carry out his plan and become a part of this heavenly mission. Every contribution symbolizes God's generosity, and I think it will return to you enormously, far above your expectations. Remember that His protection and blessing are with you every step and every contribution. You become a part of His divine plan. You are a powerful, dazzling entity, as solid as the massive rock that saw God's marvels. Feel the rewards of your kindness in your spirit, and light up the world with confidence and bravery. Be blessed, and let the light of the Lord lead you. This excursion is more than a getaway. It's a transition to a life free of manipulation and control. At whatever cost this excursion, you've risen from the turmoil of poisonous relationships to a life marked by development, purpose, and freedom. What formerly held you back is now a distant memory. True strength comes from reclaiming yourself after making the daring decision to favor your own path above the expectations of others. You've shown the essence of strength, not via retribution, but through unwavering self-discovery and growth. Your personal development serves as a constant reminder that the only way to progress is to completely accept oneself, creating the conditions for a life of pleasure and satisfaction. Reflection recognizes your change. Sharing your experience gives people hope as you embark on this new journey. Their sadness persists in a world that you have outgrown. Success is your answer, a life of prosperity and self-defined happiness, that reflects all you've conquered and the unlimited opportunities that now await you.